Okay. Let's go back now to what we're talking about initially. And I want to get your personal opinions now, on Nigeria as a unit. And this is not based on what you've read or based on any course you must have researched or whatever it is. But your personal opinion now on how Nigeria can work as a unit. I mean, we've had so many people talk about, or maybe we need to have federating units. The six geopolitical zones need to be sort of independent with a central government that is not so, with states that are also tied to the central government and things like that. How is this going to work? Do we actually need to sit down and talk about these things? Can the National Assembly actually do it?
First time I said that, a few days ago I was with Chief Emeka Yaku, the former Secretary of Commonwealth. And we were discussing about just the same issue as well. And he has a very good, which I've been able to buy into, he has a very good idea of how Nigeria can work. First thing that we both agreed on is the issue of we need to talk. That is very, very important. Then secondly, I will agree with him also that Nigeria should go back to the region system. We are spending over 80% of our total expenditure in this country is going into maintaining political officers, either at the state level or at the federal level. If we have a region system where the states will not have governors but subordinates, regions will be able to develop at their own pace. Resources from those regions will be used to develop those regions, but they will contribute a certain percentage to the central government. You will not have a central government who now needs to start doling out bailouts to states, to state governors. Well, they will still have to siphon. The president said he gave out 1.6 trillion. And up to now, not up to 10% of those states can account for what they did with the 1.6 trillion. Salaries are still being unpaid. So Nigeria is a big country. The United States is a very big country. But they practice true federalism. Nigeria should also practice true federalism. Let's have states, let's have regions, have a kind of self-independence. Let them be able to control, to dictate their own affair. It is simple. You cannot hold people to ransom. You cannot tell people, oh, okay, I'll give you an analogy. I'm the head of the family. Or probably, okay, I'm the head of the family now. And I tell my children, okay, go to the stream, go to the river, go and get fish. And when they come back, some will come with 5, some will come with 2, some will come with none. And I tell, okay, this is the fish you guys have brought. Count it, it's 10. Now everybody take 2. Is that justice? That means the person that has done absolutely nothing. And I'm paying that person equally. That means what I'm telling that person is that you don't need to work. Just go to the stream with them, come back, you still get the same amount of, the same ratio. So it's not done anywhere in the world. That is the reason why people are agitating, people are calling, See, it is not about people who want Nigeria to break. I love Nigeria. Most of these agitators love Nigeria. But what they are saying is this: let us decide the fate and future of this country so we can develop, so that we can move forward. Is
this a conversation that needs to happen? I mean, we already started hearing whispers about 2019 elections and candidates starting to peek out of the door hole. Is this something we need to hold candidates accountable to say, okay, this has to be part of the conversation. If you are going to go into office, this has to happen?
But this present administration said something like that. They've not lived up to it, or they're probably going about it like at a snail speed. So we should not hold that serious. I would say this: I'm not against us sitting down or talking. Some of us believe in restructuring, and I'll cite an instance. In Brazil, as a nation, earns $3 billion annually from bananas. There's a sector, agriculture is a sector in the Nigerian economy that is not regulated by the government. And to some people, they could classify that as minerals or source of income or source of foreign earnings. And why has a governor of Osun State, or probably the governor of Ondo State, or what are you? I cannot touch the solid minerals in my state because it's regulated by the federal government. These are things we should look at. These are things that restructuring, which some of us are clamoring for, will resolve. General Babangida said something, and I definitely will align with his views. It said restructuring will not solve all our problems, but it's just the right step in the right direction. We are not taking everything away from the federal government. We are not dismantling or disintegrating Nigeria. We just need to get some things done. If the National Assembly, which unfortunately is the only institution or organ of government that can do that, cannot give us that, I think we need to, like you said, use that as a bargaining chip against the next dispensation to see if we can achieve that. There is need for us to talk. There's need for us to restructure. There's need for us to decide which form of government will favor us. There's need for us to to talk about the word distribution, there's no state in this country that doesn't have something to bring to the table. I'll tell you, good if Zamfara is a gold mine. Kaduna State is alleged to have rich deposits of gold. Borno State, as which some of us believe, even the occupied region, Baga, Bama, what have you, is rich in uranium and diamonds. So there's no region in this country that is barren. But just for us to now decide how do we want to harness this thing to make everybody have a sense of belonging. It's not we thinking you're a parasite, no, I'm the producer. But we need, definitely there's no for us to talk. But it's rather unfortunate that the National Assembly is the only, because that's the truth. Because all these things, okay, if you want to talk about sharing of revenue, that is in Section 82 of the Constitution. 80 to 85, right?
Does President have executive order?
No, and the only state...
That's a good question.
Does President have executive order? The President, does he have executive order?
He cannot...
No.
He does.
Can he send a bill?
He can send a bill.
No, I'm coming. Now, for a president that has that power, the same president, when EFCC chairman was nominated, National Assembly, what did he said he does not need them. Also said he needs them. He said he does not need them.
I'm coming to tell you something. Don't get me wrong. You see, the EFCC Act is not a constitution. It's not a constitution. It's an act.
Okay, so I'm coming.
The constitution
in the 1999 constitution as amended, is there a provision for referendum? No. Thank you. Now there's a lacuna in the constitution. Yes or no? The president, being the executive head of this country, has the power, has the mandate, to send a bill, and demand for it. You can't tell me I'm not doing it. It's not allowed.
Okay, you know what?
Let me make a solution. You see, even if you want to have a new constitution, it has to be that through the National Assembly. Or if there's any we can call for a constitutional conference, that's the key word. So us to withdraw a new constitution.
Otherwise, thank you very much, Bola Dale. Thank you very much. I think what this shows me...
The National Assembly.
The National Assembly. How can the president do it?
It cannot touch the constitution.
Thank you very much, guys. It was nice having you guys. I think this shows what we're talking about. Nigeria needs to talk. If two of us here cannot agree, you can imagine then it just means we need to talk.
Well, let us go to the church.
If we're not talking about it, it's not going to happen. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's nice to be here.
We're going to take a quick break now and continue the conversation off air, maybe. When we come back, we'll have a special guest. Please stay with us.